Okay, hey, good evening, guys. This is Milena coming back just to give you an update on my, after having my counseling session. I had my counseling session yesterday, the 22nd. It's where you go in and sit down and you meet with the person that's handling your case. And by this time, you should have already uploaded most of your information that they required on that checklist that I showed you all in my previous video. Well, two videos back. So I went in, just a little advice. Go ahead on and bring all the items that you may have uploaded or scanned. Go ahead on and bring those items. If you have the hard copies or wherever you sent them from, just go ahead on and bring them into your meeting as well, just to have them, because when I got there, I realized that I had uploaded everything on my list, but some of the things that I sent, they weren't clear, or they just didn't transfer right, or what have you. So I ended up having to turn some of those things over, the hard copies, and he was able to get copies while I was there. Another rule of thumb, if you're taking images, pictures of your stuff, probably don't want to do that unless you're using one of those scan apps that can turn the image into an actual document that it looks like it's been scanned through. If you're doing that, you'll probably be okay, but otherwise, probably just don't want to send pictures. I did that on several of my things, and when my person, I don't know what to call him, I guess my counselor, when he pulled up the items, like my check stubs, they were not clear. And he was very clear on telling me that, like, when they send this stuff over to the bank, that if they're having trouble seeing that, of course, it's going to frustrate them, agitate them, and they're probably going to tell them, look, get your stuff together and send it back to me. So you don't want to send anything that's not clear. So just to be on the safe side, just have everything saved in PDF form and send it. Don't take any pictures of anything. What I learned yesterday is we did my action plan. Oh, hold on, that's Alexa. Alexa, cancel timer. Sorry. What I learned was that we had to do, and I'm covering my stuff up because it's got my personal information on here. We had to do an action plan.
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
Alexa, good night.
Good night.
Gosh.
Sweet dreams.
Sometimes she gets on my nerves. I'll just kind of read off what it says on here. It'll tell you, congratulations for completing your session. And it says, and NACA will work with you as long as it takes to improve your financial position, blah, blah, blah. Okay. And it'll tell you, this is your plan. So when you go in, this part of it that's giving you information on is your finances, your income, how many liabilities you have, your monthly liabilities, your assets. It's going to list all that out for you based on what you went through in your meeting. My income doesn't look right. It looks way lower than what it was. But anyway, also it shows on here your NACA qualifications, and my status says qualifications within 3 months, which would be 5/22/19. I guess as far as checking my status as to where I'm at as far as turning in documentation, I should be ready to submit for qualifications by May the 22nd, I'm guessing. And it'll tell you your strengths, and that'll be stuff like they'll address your income, if it's stable, if you have savings, assets, if you have good on-time payment history, all that stuff. They're going to list that there under your strengths. And then it'll give you this next thing will be your next steps. And what this is, it's like a brand new revised checklist based on everything that you turned in and from your meeting moving forward. So it's just another checklist of things that you will need to turn in or keep updated, like your bank statements. You're going to have to turn those in every month. Your check stubs, you get paid weekly, bi-weekly. However, you're going to have to continue to turn those in until you close. And they'll give you a target date. And my target date on my stuff is the date that I'm supposed to go back for my next session, which is May the 13th. And so a lot of this stuff I noticed when I was looking through it. Some of this stuff I have already turned in. But I'm not going to spend time calling just to say, hey, I've turned it in. If it's on the list again, I'm just going to submit it again and make sure I submit it in a proper form so they can read it. So I'm going to tell you that now. Don't go into your meeting being argumentative, trying to defend or whatever. I'm not saying don't speak up, because some things you need to point out that are maybe, different circumstances from everyone else. But don't waste your time in that meeting arguing about different stuff or disagreeing and all that, because it's just a waste of time. You have a set amount of time in that meeting, and trust me, it's going to take every minute. Even when you got your stuff, because I had all my stuff together, but it's still, you have to go through your whole plan to give them what they need in order to qualify. So spend your time wisely. Make sure you take a notebook and a pen. Please don't show up at this meeting and you don't have anything. Because the first thing you're telling them is, hey, I'm here, but I'm really not interested in getting this done. You need to take notes, because even though you have this action plan, there are going to be some side things that you may remember or think about that you have to do yourself. Like, oh, yeah, I need to pull these documents from here, fax them. Like my tax forms, I had all that stuff inserted, but I didn't sign them. So now I've got to go back, pull those tax forms, print them, sign them, and upload them again. Okay? So little stuff like that that you don't want to forget, because it can hang you up. Try your best to have everything submitted as early as possible. Don't wait, till the 2 or 3 days before your meeting time, because you want to have all that stuff in, just in case he may have a missed appointment, he or she, or have some downtime to check emails and all that stuff. You want to have your stuff in there. If he has downtime and he sees, okay, she's good about getting her stuff in early, let me see what she's got. He can go on and check some things off of off the list, instead of just waiting until your meeting day. And if that's done, then that's going to take less time for you to have to focus on this stuff when you go back to your second meeting. So, like I said, bank statements, check stubs. Let's see, what's some other things on here? Make sure you have those things that they told you, and they told you now to read the book. I know they tell you that in the class. Read the book from front to back. Please do that. It's going to help you understand a whole lot, and you won't have to ask so many questions when you're in the meeting. You'll have an understanding. They went over the book very well in the class, but just go through it again and reiterate, the things that were said, and focus on the things that are gonna apply to you. Those projects that are in there, the budget sheet, the participation sheet, those things, you need to fill that stuff out. My counselor didn't ask for them today, well, yesterday when I went to my meeting, but I did have them filled out and ready to go. So now I see on my actions that I need to have done, all my target stuff, it is on here. So I'm going to go ahead on and scan it. The best way to get your stuff, they do have an email address for you to send these things, but the best way is just to go ahead on and upload those on the web file on NACA. And you'll get all that when you get your member number and all that stuff. But that's the best way, because each thing should have it should have a slot or place for you to upload the documents, so they're already labeled for them, and it'll just make it easier for them to navigate through your documents. And it'll address the payment shock savings. You need to be saving up about $200 each month. And like with mine, I want my mortgage payment to stay around the same amount as my rent. Not going over that, but they still ask that I do the $200 each month. So just be prepared for that. They did give me a ballpark figure of what I needed to have in excess also for things like your home inspection, earnest money, homeowner's insurance. You got to have a year of that in advance. There's a few other things I can't remember. But anyway, there's an amount that they're going to give you with that too. They'll print all this stuff out for you so you can have it to refer back to. Let's see, what else. And also in this meeting, I was notified that I needed to do letters of explanation. I got lucky. I only have to do 2. And you will have to do also letters explaining, like, if certain names are on your credit report and they differ from your main name, you're going to have to write a letter saying that this is your name. Like if you use your middle name, like I do sometimes, you have to explain that. You have to, there's something else you have to explain on the credit report. I can't remember. Oh, the addresses. If you had other addresses outside the one that you have right now, you're going to have to explain, just write a letter and say, hey, yes, I did live at this residence at this particular date. And you'll just write the dates down for that. Um, let's see what else on here was important. All of it's important, and you will get a breakdown in this meeting as to how much house you can afford based on what you want your house note to be. And with that, I advise you to think about that ahead of time, because you don't want to jump the gun and get, want a $300,000 house but only want to pay $800. It's not going to work. However, I did notice that the rundown that he gave me, well, the amount of house that I can get based on what I want my monthly note to be, it was different. And I was taking in account for taxes and insurance, but it was a little different than what was in the book. So I'm going to reach out to him about that after I've uploaded all of my documents. I'm not going to worry him about that right now because we're not at that point right now. Not sure what all to expect with my meeting on May the 13th, but I am expecting, if I have everything turned in, to at least be sent over for qualifications. So I don't know how long that'll take, but I just want to give you guys an update on how it went for me. Like I said, my counselor, he was real easygoing, real nice guy. Straight to the point about some things, very direct, honest. This is what they're gonna be looking for. This is what you need. So just don't go in with a chip on your shoulder and all that, and don't feel like anybody's demeaning or talking you down. They're just trying to get you to the point of being able to be a homeowner. So humility is majorly important. I'm the one, I like to ask a lot of questions. I want to know, I want to be prepared for everything and all that, and I was able to ask some questions, but some stuff I just had to just wait, I'll just wait on. I'll do the best that I can with what I have. But just keep a positive outlook when you go in there, and remember, you are not the only client. You are not. In that meeting, they are going to, completely contribute time to you. He didn't take any phone calls, nothing like that. That was my time. That was also my time to be taking down as much information, as I could, to show my appreciation for him focusing on only me. But don't get upset if they can't get back with you right away, because just like you had a meeting that day and they have 4, 5, 6, whatever scheduled, they may not be able to answer your calls midday or answer your emails midday because they do have other appointments. So just keep that in mind and just manage your time wisely and make sure you're doing your work on the front end. And I guarantee you that this will go smoothly. I'm not going to say it'll go quickly, but it will go smoothly if you just do what they ask you to do in a timely manner. I think that everything will work out. So far, the program, it has not been bad for me at all. I knew what they were asking for, and I just had to get on it and get everything that they required of me. And so far, so good, So I'm going to work the next 3 or 4 days and get all of this stuff sent in. So it'll be there for them. So I'll be prepared when it comes time for my appointment. But y'all just stay tuned. I'll keep you posted every time I have a meeting or any updates. I'll make sure that I get on here and let you guys know. If you want to keep track of everything, just click subscribe, and we'll talk to you later.